Christopher saying, have you framed the UM shirt yet? You got to send it to the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta.
I know I should, but I'm waiting for the auction to go off, and then
they got to buy it off of you. They got to buy it off of you.
Yeah, man. Someone's got to buy it off me, man.
I haven't seen the eBay link come through.
Oh, God.
Wipe my ass with it, man. Be authentic. Authentic.
Why are we wiping our ass with it?
To get the essence. Because that's what I think of Miami. The pure shit. You
said to get the essence.
Hey guys, it's Terrence Mann. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go Noles.
Hey, what's up? This is Peter Ward, aka E-Dub, in the house. We're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. Go live, go Noles.
Hi, this is Charlie Ward, and you're listening to Hear the Spear. Go Noles.
This is Terrell Buckley. You're listening to Hear the Spear, presented by Noel Game Day. No Bloody.
But perhaps better known as the greatest corner to ever step on a football field, Deion Primetime Sanders.
Great Deion Sanders, my brother. What's going on, man? I could wake up to that greeting every day, man. That was awesome.
Hello, Noles fans. This is former Seminole Derek Brooks, and you're listening to Hear the Spear, presented to you by Noel Game Day.
James Wilder Jr. What's going on, James?
Thanks for having me on. FSOD, Florida State or Die, and go Noles.
William Bar None Floyd.
Gentlemen, what's up?
What's happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Hear the Spear, presented to you by NoelGameDay.com. We are here on this fantastic Thursday evening, second week in a row, back on our good old Thursdays. And we're here to recap a whole lot of stuff. I mean, right now we're in the thick of everything happening, football going on, big games coming up for them, along with basketball, too. And there's a lot of discussion there. Is it time to overreact? FSU Twitter sure is. So we got a lot to discuss here. And there's no better person to discuss basketball with than us and VZ down there in the bottom right. We got D-Lou at the top, about to head on his bachelor trip up to Boston tomorrow. Luckily, we were able to grab him on here before God knows what's going to happen to him. And then Nate Greer, bottom left, lead recruiting insider. I mean, everything's jumping up on recruiting, too. This is a very busy time right now, but that means we got a lot to talk about. So as always, you guys can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, hit the comments, discuss with us, hang out with us, subscribe, like, and do all the fun stuff there. We got a lot to go through this evening. We're going to talk a little bit of our last thoughts on Florida State versus Miami, the momentum from recruiting. Tyre West, I don't think he's been talked about enough in the last 48 hours, but we got some Tyre West goodies to talk. Practice observations. We talk about some of the things there with Toa Philly being available this upcoming weekend too. We got the announcement of the Florida State UF kickoff time. We'll talk pro Noles, and then the rest we'll recap, Florida State basketball and what's going on there with their loss to UF and their win against Tulane at home last night. And then we'll talk Boston College and get you guys ready for that. Florida State's only 2 wins away from making it to a bowl game. Will they make it? We'll talk about it tonight. So, gentlemen, how we doing? Things are going crazy right now. But beautiful weather in Tallahassee. I can't complain.
Yeah, it's perfect outside. It really is. Ever since the Miami game, we've just been getting rewarded time and time again.
I'm glad you're getting rewarded because I'm getting rewarded with a terrible offense on the basketball team.
Well, I try to ignore that side of things. I just stay on the bright side a little bit.
Yeah, at least you guys have something.
Nate,
how you doing, Nathaniel?
What up, baby?
I'm straight, man.
Tired. A little tired. Caught up to you. Man. Hey, we're matching though. Did we do that on purpose?
No. Hell no.
Hell no. Have you watched
my
that
goals will not be anything like you, Logan. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't blame you.
This shirt only comes on for the podcast. Otherwise, it sits in a deep dark spot in my closet, so I don't have to look at you or be reminded of you.
In a heap.
Mm-hmm.
You got to throw it in the dryer before you do the podcast. Get the wrinkles out.
Yeah, put a little wrinkle release on there. Do the college ironing. You throw it in the dryer real quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
It was a great week, man.
Not a lot of people can be like me, so
beat Miami.
Thank God.
Nobody can be like me in 31-28 exact score. I mean, I'll probably say it 8 more times tonight. So only 3 minutes in.
You probably predicted probably 100 scores before you got one right. So congratulations.
But
You're
not wrong.
Yeah,
that's why I'm celebrating it. That's why I'm celebrating it.
I'm a little disappointed that the Miami fans have tucked their tail and disappeared as quickly as they have. But
they're already on to their next coach. It's going to be.
Man.
You already know who they got.
It's going to be co-head coaches of Lane Kiffin, Mario Cristobal, and whatever bullshit they can come out to. Yeah, no. I think Belichick's going to coach linebackers for him. So,
no. They're bringing in Tom Brady at quarterback. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy land down there.
Yeah, I know you got freaking Lane Kiffin going there. Go ahead and give his agent props for getting him a raise at Ole Miss.
Well, you know who his agent is, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Sexton.
The one who gets everyone a raise.
Yep. The scumbag of all scumbags, man.
Honestly, though, he's the best agent ever.
I know.
Every client gets a raise every year.
Idaho Tech is opened up. I'm gonna get your name out there. You don't leave LSU for Idaho Tech, man. I'm gonna get you an extra couple million. And
easy money. That's how it works. Nah, well, Miami's getting everybody. They saw the petition for Miami to get The Rock down there to be their AD. I guess if that's the case, if that's the case, you have Kevin Hart as the head coach.
Keep it in the family, man. So you got Ed Reed as the director or player, whatever he is. The Rock is there.
He was doing the chant on the field with whatever the hell that duck is on the field. What do they call it again?
Ibis.
Yeah, after Miami scored their late touchdown, he went out on the field and did the chant. And
it was great to see.
So I don't know if he's a cheerleader too. I don't know.
Got to keep him motivated.
Pretty much a mascot. He's there for the name,
practically.
But,
about it, the clout. Yeah.
All that bullshit, fake hype. Starting at the fourth quarter with, Manny Diaz getting them on the field, jumping on the logo, getting all pumped up, man. It's all fake. It's a fake program, man.
Yeah, I
really hope they enjoyed the last 4 years because it's going to be a while.
Yeah, they had their chance there for sure. And
Nate's got a whole year.
Right they have 8 commitments right now, okay? And us as any fans can be, we can explain what transition classes do to a program. They're going to fire Manny, go to a transition class with 0 people in the class. But come on, man. Let's be realistic. So I'd love to see it. So go ahead and fire Manny. Bring on who's Temple's coach right now? That seems to be their pipeline.
Let's look it up right quick. That is going to be Rod Carey, the former NIU coach that I believe was the Orange Bowl coach that lost to FSU. Or am I wrong?
No, that was
he took over.
It looks so familiar.
He took over when Dave Dolan left there to go to NC State. He was the interim coach and they ended up just hiring, I believe. Something happened like that. But, man, come on, man. It's great to see.
Good stuff. Yeah. Fun times. It's really entertaining to keep an eye on Miami Twitter. Good stuff. I saw your tweet earlier today, Nate, of Lane Kiffin kicking the board and celebrating, and Miami fan tweeting that's what it's going to look like whenever Lane Kiffin throws or gets
the national average of rent
points
was $715 the last time Miami won the national title.
$700.
The national average.
Wow.
What's the national average now?
Look it up, Logan.
We're doing a lot of Googling right now. National average.
Need to see if I'm paying a good deal.
It's like 1,200.
I bet you it's like 12 to 14. By double.
More than 12.
1,098.
That was close.
1,098
in 2020. But that's just a one bedroom.
You got to think about how many places aren't New York City or a college town.
Yeah. You got to think about like the Podunk, Ohio, that you can get a house for $500 a month.
Yeah.
Or Section 8 housing, or then you have the San Francisco $5,000 a month rent. And then you have Tallahassee, which I don't know what it is there, but
about 1,000.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's look at this beautifulness right here, man.
Let's look at this beautiful slate here. It looked great on Saturday night, and now it even just looks even better. Nate, we looked at this along with D-Lou after the game, but Florida State wins and beats Miami and Manny Diaz 31-28. Right now, Miami has fired their AD. They're looking for a new one and could be looking for a new coach after Mike Norvell did what he had to do. This is his first rivalry game coaching. I know people are going to say last year, well, he was coaching. Now, this was his first rivalry game that he coached, and he gets the win. He's 1-0 against rivals. But Florida State, Jordan Travis, Jermaine Johnson, Amarian Cooper. I mean, names go on, but
they're lucky it wasn't worse, man.
I would say you look at the stats. Florida State wins every single statistic outside of passing yards, which is close enough, whatever, and tackles for loss, which whatever, because Jermaine Johnson was doing everything himself, so it didn't matter. But,
and even passing yards, Jordan Travis had a career high in the game. So,
yeah, if it's not for that last 20-yard completion with a second left, passing yards pretty even.
Yep. Take away that lucky ass tip, touchdown to Harley. Florida State executes better in the first half. It's more like a 28-31 nothing score at the half, and they run away with it. So
we've talked about it a couple times. Florida State came out of the gate, made Miami punt, got the touchdown, then forced 3 straight turnovers, and I think only got a touchdown. Out of those
17 total points.
Yeah. 17 total points out of 3 turnovers, and a heck of an effort in that first quarter. So, like you said, Nate, you really could have blown them out of the water early, and this wouldn't have even been a game. But I think everyone can live with how it worked out, especially going in Florida State's favor.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Florida State found its rushing game back, too, in this game, with Jashawn Corbin going for 68 yards. Then Jordan Travis goes off too with 62. Treshaun Ward had some really nice plays with 21 yards, but a total of 160 on the ground after Florida State couldn't get anywhere close to 100, but it only almost took 2 games the previous 2 weeks. So Florida State getting back into a rhythm there on the ground, and this is something we talked about in the preview, that Florida State should have a pretty decent game on the ground against Miami's rushing game defense. Miami did bring a better threat there in that red zone in this game, I thought. They were able to keep Florida State away from scoring a few times. But Jordan Travis overall hitting those throws when need be, stepping through the pocket too, and throwing some darts just on dimes is what really put this through. And, he has his best year or his best game in his career, going for 274 yards on the day, 18 of 26.
Yeah, I mean, as solid as the rushing attack was against Miami, it was really Jordan Travis who stepped up and won this game. He made some tremendous throws over the middle, obviously hit Ja'Kai Douglas on that last drive, the big throw on 4th and 14. And in every big moment, it felt like he really stepped up and delivered. He's got to be as confident as he's been since he got to Florida State right now when it comes to throwing the football.
Well, for sure. Yeah, like I said on the Instant Reaction podcast, I've given him a lot of grief for him as a passer. He played well on Saturday, took advantage of the plays that were open. Stood in the pocket, which is the first time he's really done that in forever. First time he's ever really done that. Had a really good presence. Stepped up. I really like those plays where they got him out of the pocket and those little throwbacks to the middle of the field. Really I like those. Those are easy throws. It kept them in rhythm too. So, but that. Everyone's talked about it, ad nauseum, but that 4th and 14, man, that was a toss, man. 30 yards, dime.
It was great anticipation. I mean, he saw the defense stand still. He saw it was a perfect throw, and I'm right there with Nate. We both given Travis a lot of grief, but he showed up, and it's a good thing he did because Florida State really, really needed him, and glad he finally made some plays.
Jordan talked about it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and you look at it, even going back a little bit, over the last 4 games, Travis, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. FSU's had a 3-1 record in those 4 starts, only loss being to Clemson on the road where, really a couple plays go FSU's way. They're walking out of Death Valley with a win. Last pick that Travis threw was back against Syracuse in early October. And even then it was on the freak wide receiver screen where McDonald missed the block and the defender kind of jumped the route and got a pretty insane pick. So he's been doing a really good job of taking care of the ball, especially as of late.
Yep, absolutely. He has. So.
And I put a lot of that too, man. I think we need to tip our cap more to the offensive staff and putting him in the offensive position. I think we talked a little bit about it on the post game, but we talked about last week too how Florida State's kind of found their rhythm with the play calling, and they've kind of really figured out what they are and what they aren't on offense. So they've done a really good job of calling the plays and scheming guys open in the last few weeks, and now they're able to make plays. Parchment had that boneheaded. He stopped running. Looks like he didn't really expect the ball, but he made up for it. But he's showboating. But guys are starting to get open. Ja'Kai Douglas has done nothing but get open this year. So you got to figure out how to get him in the scheme or the next 2 weeks as you try to get bowl eligible. So it's happened at the right time. I think the tough defenses are over. And now we can see if Florida State can put up some points to keep moving offensively.
What you think in Gainesville they don't have a good defense? Come on, Sanford scored 55 on them.
Might be the worst defense we play all year.
I feel more confident about Florida than I did Miami.
Dang.
I feel more confident about Florida than I do Boston College. That tells you where things are.
I feel that too a little bit.
Florida's in some problems, man. But we'll address that next week. So
that's going to be a real fun one. We'll make sure to get a good guest or two on here to help us preview that one. But
to Nate's point on the offense, like you said, they've really figured it out, not only with play calling, but also putting the right guys in position at the right times, and 25 straight red zone scores for the Florida State offense. When they get inside that 20, they're coming away with points.
Yep.
Amarion Cooper, I want to talk about him for a little bit because he and along with Kevin Knowles are two guys, true freshmen that are starting in a rivalry game. Kevin has already had experience there as being a starter, but Amarion Cooper comes in first game rivalry and absolutely shows out. Great coverage. PBU's along with his big time interception, which just kept on killing Van Dyke's drives down the field. But Amarion Cooper, what a game by him as a true freshman, and really understanding, just being smart mentally and understanding where he needs to be in which scheme and which packages. He's got a very, very bright future. Overall, Kevin Knowles and Amarion Cooper for the future ahead in the defensive back area. That's just what Florida State continues to do year on, year out.
I think you're on mute, Nate.
Yeah,
I don't think he was talking. But yeah,
Amarion Cooper. By the way, Cooper, I'm giving you some love here on the show. Nobody else is giving you love.
No. I said enough on the instant reaction. I thought he played a damn good game. I think that it's pretty laughable going in when they announced that he was starting. All these Miami fans started getting all happy and ecstatic. But
hilarious.
Yeah, he'd been coming on the last few weeks. In game and in practice. The coaches gave him a shot and he paid dividends. So. Even on the last few drives when Miami had to have it, they put Cooper on Rambo and Cooper shut him down, man. Like their super senior 6-year guy, whatever he is, transfer, true freshman for a start, shut him down. Like you said, Logan, he played smart the entire game. Super physical, great length. He's not a burner, but he's fast enough to stay in coverage. Great size, arm length. He's going to be a problem.
Second interception of the season, too.
I think people forget about him. Blue chip guy was committed for a while. I know, he, teetered a little bit towards the end, and people just forgot about, old Marion from Lehigh, but comes from a gritty program. Kind of like the Lake City, Columbia, Valdosta kind of school where those kids are just players, man. They're coached up well in high school. Good size, good head on the shoulder. Good technique coming in. So, it was only a matter of time before he was going to get out there and play, especially with one the injuries that the FSU's had, two just the subpar play from guys like Travis Jay and the inconsistencies of Jerry and Jones. It was just a matter of time before you see him and Hunter Washington, who's done pretty well throughout, practices, and he's looked pretty decent in the playing time he's had. So, tip of the cap for the coaches to, go out there in a rivalry game and start two true freshmen, and they both played really well.
Hopefully, he can get Cooper a better number than 37 because he's too good to be wearing 37.
Yeah, man.
It's just an ugly number.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Now you gotta change that, man.
Gotta get better number there. I was going to note here that he is the first true freshman at the FBS level with those numbers in a game since 2013, and the first Seminole of any class since Derwin James in 2017, which was against Syracuse. But he, along with Jermaine Johnson, got accolades for Players of the Week. He was the first DB for Florida State this season to receive an accolade from the ACC.
Kind of surprised with what the Brownies played, at times this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
might have had another DB in the ACC perform a bit better.
You're going to talk about Jermaine?
Who's that? I don't know. Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Yeah, Jermaine Johnson. 3 sacks on the game. He, along with that, he gets his ACC accolades as usual too. The defensive line continues to rack them up. They've got a pretty good, heavy amount of awards coming from the ACC. But Jermaine Johnson just looked unstoppable, and for a game that you wanted to have those kind of superstars show out, he does it. The NFL guys and scouts are probably just drooling at his performance on Saturday, but Jermaine absolutely goes off for 3 sacks and had 5 TFLs on the night. He's the only player in the country with multiple 3-sack plus 4+ tackle for losses in games this season. He leads all Power 5 defensive linemen with 61 tackles and ranks second nationally with 11 sacks on the year.
What was that when he came backside and tackled the tight end in the open field to cause the punt, man? The guy was completely out of the play, and just the hustle and determination to get over there. Finishes off the play. Florida State did a good job of getting to the ball, but it was Jermaine's little, pop at the end that kind of put him to the ground when he was trying to fight for that first down. So,
yeah,
can't really say anything that hasn't been said already, man. Kid played a hell of a game.
Yeah, his name is just all over this game. Not only that play, Nate, but just countless sacks on Van Dyke. Jumping, I think, a jet sweep and getting a huge tackle for loss. Just all night, straight domination from a guy. When you look back on it, this is going to be his only appearance in this rivalry, and he set the record for tackles for loss. No one in the rivalry has ever had 5 tackles for loss in a game other than him. So it's just an impressive, a historically impressive performance for Jermaine Johnson, and it was obviously the best game that he's played statistically in his college career to this point. So he saved the best for last, and hope he's got something for the Gators as well.
When you look at coming into the season, I think all 4 of us were pretty excited about Jermaine Johnson. Do you think he's exceeded expectations?
Blown him out of the water, in my opinion.
Not only because
through the roof,
especially with what he's done off the field.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think
everything he's done off the field.
I think any player could have a single bigger impact on defense than Jalen Ramsey had against Miami in 2014. And you watch Jermaine in this game, and you're like, God, he was just all over the place, making plays everywhere, especially from the D line. They just torching Miami's offensive line, which is what they needed coming in the game.
He just created havoc the entire game. You know, it's just the mentality of kind of recalibrating what it takes to be, you know, an upper echelon elite college football player. I think he's kind of, you know, reset that mindset with this football team. You know, yeah, he spent time in junior college and Georgia, and you know, the guy's worked his tail off, and you know, he that work ethic has been there even before he came to FSU. But you know, he brought that and was super motivated, and it's kind of showed this team that's still young, hey, you know, put your work in, and it's going to show out for you. So you know, it's just a mentality change too that this program needed.
Yeah, not only that, but the thing that he's came in and wanted to work, and he really does believe in Mike Norvell, and he wants to leave here as being a Nole, not anywhere else of where he's been before. And he's came in and been a leader too for that whole unit, and you see it all the time. I see it at practices of him going and talking with some of the younger guys and guys behind him on the depth chart, giving them tips and certain things like that. And you know, that's huge for a guy that wants to leave a mark here, not only from what he's doing on the field and what he's just not a selfish guy. You know, we've seen a lot of guys come through Florida State where they come in and, you know, they want to, their eyes are set on the league and all that. But I mean, this guy talked about in an interview. He's not going to be one of those players that come in and then he's just going to sit out for the bowl game if there's a bowl game chance, and he's going to play in it. And that's just because he loves Florida State. And, you know, it's very rare breed. You kind of get that with that kind of
it's
talent.
The first real difference maker FSU's had on that side of the ball since, you know, late Jimbo, probably since you know, Derwin and you know, DeMarcus Walker is probably the last really true playmaker FSU's had on that side of the ball, and it's been a while.
Yeah. So let's talk about the momentum from this game to wrap up that last thoughts on FSU versus UM. Momentum from recruiting, because we saw it. We got to see it in the stands too. A lot of guys there, including Travis Hunter. You had Chris Parson too. A whole lot of targets that were in attendance, including Marvin Jones Jr., who might be the biggest, if definitely the biggest target for FSU going to finish off this class. Legacy recruit. We met up with Chris Parson after the game, Dustin, and I know both you and Nate talked with a few guys afterwards too. What was kind of now with a couple days now talking with them and conversating, what was kind of the feel after getting that win? And, you know, we talked about it too. Miami, both of y'all picked Miami to be this biggest game over Florida in order to win, just mainly because so many of those guys are from down south, but also, I mean, you've got them all in your stadium under the lights, and you get that win. What kind of things are y'all hearing from some of the recruits?
Yeah, I mean, you know, absolutely huge to have that kind of environment, Doak at night, host Miami, and then beat them for the first time in 4 tries. You know, so the recruits very impressed by the game, excited for Florida State to get that win. And I think they recognize what the coaching staff is starting to see a little bit is they're just a couple steps away from taking back the state of Florida and really, you know, landing elite talent year in and year out. I think Florida State really has to capitalize in these last 2 games. It would be huge to extend the season and get to a bowl, continue to show that this success is building. And, you know, I know you did get a commitment from a transfer, didn't get anyone in the 2022 class, obviously, this weekend, but the shockwaves from this win are going to pay off when the early sign-in period comes up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you know, you get Bless Harrison. You know, he decommitted from UCF, a guy that, you know, David Johnson's familiar with from back in New Orleans. You know, when I talked to him, he's got 2 former teammates, and Byron Turner and soon-to-be Bishop Thomas that will be playing for FSU. So, you know, the guys, you know, excited about getting to Tallahassee. Yeah, I know he comes from Lamar. You know, some people may be down on that, but, you know, you can't really turn away guys who are 6'6", 315 that can play inside or outside, you know, or big, can bend and you know, have the tools that Plus does have, and he's going to be a multi-year guy for FSU. So I think that's a quality take from the portal. And, you know, as far as like what people have said, kind of what Dustin said, you know, the atmosphere is always in those rivalry games for Florida State, Miami is always electric. It doesn't matter, you know, it's the one game a year Miami gets attendance. And it's a great environment for that game in Tallahassee. Fans showed out for that game, and it was a good game. It went back and forth, and I think that helped generate some buzz and excitement. And Florida State didn't fold; they fought back and came back and won. But I think behind the scenes, it went a lot better than what we heard so far publicly. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that feel very, very good about how the weekend went. Felt that some needs may have been addressed in terms of what FSU needs to finish out the class. And you look at a guy like Marvin Jones Jr., who I've said for a while now is the most important recruit left on the board, and has been maybe the most important thought this cycle. Made a great impression on him. Guy's been around the program for almost all of his life, so he's a fan of FSU, and he sees a great game and proof of concept when you watch a guy like Jermaine Johnson continue just to dominate. So that's great to see for him personally, but also a great environment and get the W. But behind the scenes, the coaching staff felt very good about coming out of the weekend. I don't know why people think Coleman's trending to Oregon.
From the tweets,
let's talk about that for
media.
A minute.
So Kevin Coleman, 5-star wide receiver.
Why?
Because he went on a visit there. That's where he visited last. So
that's great.
I'm just saying that's what it comes
FSU fans
down
not be
to.
worried.
That's great. I mean, the guy's been at FSU multiple times on his own dime.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about coming again possibly before signing day,
which would be huge.
If that happens,
it's over.
It's throw the key away. It's over.
Yeah,
nothing has changed in how I feel about Coleman and FSU. Right. Well, what's the alternative? Why go to Oregon? What is that Oregon that would be better?
Besides facilities?
Uniforms.
Heard they've got great weather.
Ew.
What?
So
I'm being sarcastic.
Micah Pittman, another blue chip wide receiver Oregon gets, transferring out of there.
Yeah, saw that.
Wide receivers, man, whatever, man.
No.
Everyone needs to relax. Just relax, everyone. Let it play out.
Michael saying Coleman on record said he wanted to start right away. So
I will say things not necessarily looking great with wide receiver Camden Brown, one of Florida State's other targets at the position right now. I don't think, from what I've heard at least, I don't think they're going to be able to flip him away from Pittsburgh. So really, it's Coleman, Mortimer. Hope Dustin Hill shows up in January and hit that transfer portal.
Oh, yeah, Dustin's got it. They got to hit that. That has to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to go the portal route. I mean, they're going to have to. There's a couple options in there already, but I mean, such is life. I think you offer Camden Brown, get him on campus, and see if it's a fit, and if it doesn't mesh for each side, it doesn't mesh for each side. That's why you take the visits.
Question in here from Gary asking, what if Florida State loses to Boston College but beats UF? I can go and tell you no bowl.
We're still
they don't get a bowl.
No bowl.
Yeah.
But we're still all going home happy. Beat Miami and Florida. We're good.
It would still give the staff something to work with, but
yeah,
you would prefer you beat the Gators and
Boston
to a bowl.
College and go to a bowl game.
Then you win this season from the fan base.
And you
Absolutely.
get what is it?
20 especially after starting 0-4.
Yeah, I mean, being so close to beating Clemson, yeah.
A 7-2 finish. It's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Not wrong. But yeah, we'll have some more updates there recruiting-wise. One last thing, though. Let's talk Tyre West because it seems like some momentum is there. We were at practice on Wednesday and got to see him visiting with the coaching staff along with the players. I can't say fully on everything else just because due to NCAA and all their regulations and all that craziness. But Tyre West was indeed enjoying the visit. A lot of smiles. Bartow along with Kenyatta Watson, those recruiting guys, those gurus around.
Sure you can say that?
I don't know. God forbid. Well, I did see them on public space. I did see them at the sidewalk after the practice together. So I could say that. I know. But I will say that Tyre West did really enjoy his practice visit while we were
Who
there.
drove him away in the golf cart?
I don't know. I didn't know the name. It wasn't Kenyatta Watson nor Ryan Bartow. But
That's
they
not a
went
good
by
sign.
fast because I couldn't get a picture in time. They're running like TMZ, and I will not be doing that after a 17-year-old. I'm not going to run after people like that. But Tyre West, some places have him rated as a 5-star, 4-star, very high product, definitely on the SI All-American, our site, and Georgia current.
He
Georgia
is not
commit.
Ranked in the SI 99.
Well, we're ranking them.
Just
we're
so that
ranking
you know.
them right now. Breaking news. We're ranking
I
them.
texted John about that. I was like,
tell
"Not
John.
ranked?" Question mark.
John, we're ranking him right now. He's going to be a high 4-star. Let's put him as a 5-star, John. Can we do that? But Tyre West, Nate, and Delu, what have y'all been hearing? I got a text earlier today from Georgia's side of things, and they think that it is over, that he is going to make the flip to Florida State.
Yeah, so I mean, this
Yeah,
one.
so yeah, there you go. That's what I think. It's been a long time coming. So, I mean, Florida State's worked on this for a while, like multiple months. So
I don't want to say a long time coming. It's kind of coincided with some moves. But it's coincided with some moves that Georgia's making in their own recruiting class, and it's going to work out in Florida State's favor because, like you said, they've been there the entire time. Mm-hmm. If he was going to decommit from the Bulldogs, they've got that relationship, and getting him on campus earlier this week, absolutely huge. And he also said he's going to return in December for an official visit. I did, hear from a source, and I reported in our Discord that I had been told he was going to publicly make his decision yesterday. Obviously, that didn't happen for whatever reason, but I do think everything eventually, comes to a close in December, and he winds up in the 2022 class.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that if those comparisons are, if they come to fruition of him and being very much like Timmy Jernigan, I think that would be a huge building block for Florida State in the interior, because we all know how he was in his 3 years at Florida State. So just a violent, high motor.
Got to work hard for that.
Defensive lineman, man. And you watch his highlight tape, you see the same stuff. Guy's violent. Plays with a high motor, a lot of energy. Really like to see it. So. It's a benefit too for, Georgia's. At some point, these players are going to start going elsewhere because they're not going to sit the bench. But also, Florida State's just done a really good job of recruiting this kid.
Is that what Travis Hunter was doing over in Athens, guys?
Let's ask him. Let's get him on the podcast. Let's get him on to help us preview UF. Why not?
But no, West would wind up being your guy in the interior to go along with Bishop Thomas and Daniel Lyons, and then Marvin Jones Jr.
and a great
Kelly,
year. Sorry,
come
Dustin.
on down.
And a great year. Not a great year for defensive linemen this cycle. You have a couple, top-notch guys in Nolan, and then the kid out of Orlando, Dundee, whatever, whatever his name is. But it's not a great year for interior defensive linemen. So to get three guys that, one guy that has a really high ceiling and Tyre West, and then a guy like, Daniel Lyons, who I think is probably maybe the best D tackle in the state of Florida this year. And then you'll get Bishop Thomas, a guy who will be a space eater for you. I think that you hit a triple with that position if you can bring those three in. So
Jay's asking, any word on silent commits after the UM game? I'll just keep it blank and just ask, do you think had to have been some silence. You know, we heard a few things after the game.
Yes.
D-Lou.
Yes.
Yeah.
Multiple.
There's your answer. And then Christopher's saying, is MJJ and Earl Little a package deal basically with their friendship? And I don't believe so. Marvin Jones Jr. actually answered that on his Instagram story last night. They're not. That they're not a package deal.
No.
They're not a package deal.
A package deal would be more like a Jaylen Brown and Lamont Green Jr., who've been friends for a long time.
What are you trying to say?
Who spent a lot of quality time together.
Where are you going with that?
You know,
you're the one, Dustin.
But you know, or Little is another guy who, again, you know, looks like Alabama is going to flip Damani Jackson, and then that's going to complete
USC.
their class, and that's going to benefit FSU tremendously because that's a really, really good football player. That is another. No, I'm not going to pigeonhole him and say, you know, Jalen Ramsey, Joyner type, but he's that kind of kid who can play that sub package nickel. You know, can play in the box and play out wide. You know, he's that guy who can play that. You know, that position that Jalen's playing now so well for the Rams in this defense. So, you know, if they could pull Earl Little, who I've been high on personally for well over a year, that would be absolutely ridiculous if they get him, Hunter, and Sam McCall, best DB class in the country.
Yeah, and I don't think Little and Marvin Jones Jr. are a package deal, but you know, being good friends, one could impact the other. So it's only a good thing for Florida State if they do get Little into the fold. Can't hurt.
It's always good too when, you know, dad who played for Miami, you know, has a great experience when he comes to Tallahassee. So, you know,
I will say that's one thing Florida State has done a fantastic job of, because, you know, you think about the Sam Howells and the Nick Crosses and the relationships with the family there to now where Florida State is winning over families. Like they've won over Kevin Coleman's father and family as well. So the coaching staff is doing an excellent job, you know, of not just connecting and developing relationships with the kids themselves, but also with their families and really doing what they can to make this feel like home.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job there. That's what Mike Norvell does really good job at. You know, it's family first, and that's what, you know, he's done really well with Travis Hunter, and he's relayed that off to other recruits, and I think it's worked out pretty well. Take a look at Tyre West.
I was talking to I haven't posted the interview yet, but Josiah Riley, the 2023 quarterback that they're evaluating right now. Sorry, hiccups. But you know, this guy comes all the way over from Colorado to take a visit to FSU. They haven't offered him yet, but you know, this kid is a guy that they're keeping a close eye on. But you know, that's one thing that he mentioned, you know, with his family, just the hospitality, and he didn't expect it to be as great of a visit as it was, even for a kid that's not offered yet officially, and it's still a 2023 kid. Just how welcomed that his family and he was, you know, just it's how it is.
Mm-hmm. There's a question here from Montre. We talked about it earlier. I mean,
yes.
I said it literally from what Jermaine Johnson said in a press conference, but Jermaine Johnson did indeed say that he would play in the bowl game.
I think he'll play.
Yes.
You know, he's got
that. So we can get to the bowl game first. Gotta get to the bowl game first.
He's got that mindset.
Gotta get to the Boston College win first.
When we get
one step at a time. Yep.
Exactly. Let's get through UF at 6-6, and then we can talk about me going to the Gasparilla Bowl
to play FAU.
Right. Whoa, that'd be fun. That'd be exciting. Or NIU. I saw that on one of the projections earlier today. That would be exhilarating. It would be exhilarating. That means I don't have to fly anywhere. You just drive there.
Probably play NIU.
Not bad.
Freaking Mobile, Alabama or something.
I know. I do not want to go back to Shreveport. I drove through there to Dallas this summer.
Yeah.
Just sucked. Let me tell you that. Let's jump through some practice observations really quick. Then we're going to get into some basketball. Nothing too crazy to note on. One thing to say, Lawrence Toafili looks like he's going to be a full participant, definitely for this upcoming weekend. Norvell mentioned it too in the press conference afterwards that he expects Baby 9 to be back this weekend, which is big time for FSU. Good to have him back there. Definitely in the passing attack too, because he was starting to click there. If you guys remember, he was starting to click in that offense pretty well and had a phenomenal game against Clemson. And since then has been hurt, but good to see that Lawrence Toafili will be back this weekend. I thought overall, I mean, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I think this was their best week of Tuesday and Wednesday practices. Usually there's either a really good Tuesday or a really good Wednesday, but both. And Norvell wasn't going to say it. I don't think he wants the team to know, but I mean, they really had some good practices this week and extremely competitive. And, everybody else seems to be fully healthy. There'll be some guys that we'll keep an eye on, like Sidney Williams and dinged up, along with Devontae Love-Taylor. We'll see if they're a full go this upcoming weekend. But I think there's some optimism that DLT will be good and available for Florida State on Saturday. Florida State UF announcement kickoff time there is going to be at noon.
Trash.
Let's get it out of the way, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. To watch. I can't stand Florida, so I actually want to watch, and I won't be able to.
Does that mean you're going to pick
leave
Florida
at
State?
7 a.m., Logan, to get over there.
Yeah, the latest.
If we're going to get there for pregame.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the latest.
Have you all been?
Nah, I've never been.
I've been in 2013. Well, that's the only time I've ever been in Gainesville in the swamp is 2013.
So getting in there, getting there as a media member is a pain in the ass.
Perfect.
You know that now. So
Florida State's bad enough.
Give yourself time. Javante Barnes.
You don't have to walk a mile like I do, Dustin.
That's a long walk, bro.
It's a decent walk.
My legs
we didn't talk about.
Oh, but wait, hold up. You get to go park in the parking garage.
You guys
walk over. Flirt later.
Yeah.
We'll flirt in them.
Talking about Javante Barnes right now. We didn't talk about him.
Oh, yeah. Can you say who he is and what he does?
He won't respond to my freaking DM.
Yeah, me either, but
who's Javante Barnes for our podcast listeners?
He's a four-star running back from Bishop Gorman out in Vegas. Looking like it's down to FSU, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Florida State's done a tremendous job recruiting him. I still would pick Oklahoma right now, but I think that official visit really showed him some things. And I think Florida State's going to be a legitimate option for him as we head into early signing day. It would not surprise me if he signed with FSU.
Yeah, I forget where he's going somewhere this weekend. He might have an official to Oklahoma.
Yeah. I still would pick Oklahoma just because of what they've been able to do offensively, but it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up in Tallahassee.
Be a big pickup there for
Florida State.
Definitely in that running game, and I think Norvell has a great resume of what he's done with running backs. So
he's a little bit more of a
problem there on that side.
He's a little bit more powerful Toafili. He's a little bit more well-rounded in the run game, but kind of like Toafili can get out in the passing game really well. Kind of like Rodney Hill, who I think is going to be super dynamic in the pass game at FSU. So that would be a good tandem to bring in.
I wanted to bring up this picture real quick because I thought this was really cool that Marvin Jones Jr. shared on his Instagram page. But this is him back, I believe, in 2014 with Dalvin Cook there. Could this have been 2015? No.
It had to be 2015, only because Dalvin doesn't have the high sacks.
Yep. And also, is that an Auburn State jersey?
Or 60?
Is that 18 or 81?
It's got to be 81, right? Unless it's inside out, but it's probably 81.
Yeah, it's upside. Yeah, 81. But and it's crazy though with Marvin Jones Jr. looking like this.
I think the guy's been on the program for
like a little kid,
almost all of his life.
And then now that genetics, man,
yep.
pops. Isn't that wild, though?
That's the only reason I didn't go pro. I'm telling you.
The only reason.
The only reason.
The only reason.
I almost did it, but they're like, your genetics aren't good enough.
Yeah, so close, man.
You're 5'7", 40. Damn.
You're 7 years in college. Damn.
I know you had 7 years and didn't think about walking off.
I didn't get genetics on any front, did I? Man,
you didn't get any academics, genetics, no physical genetics.
No athletic ability.
Mind, body, just
sometimes a bag of rocks.
Failure. What?
It's just.
You can't be too mean to him. This is Bachelor weekend.
This is getting too real.
He needs it.
Man, you're lucky I'm not participating in that.
Y'all two still have not met. We've all met, but still, Dustin.
Dude, I invited him to my wedding. He was supposed to come to the Miami game.
It would be like.
It's never gonna happen.
No.
Next month.
What happened to what about the Kenny Shaw camp? He was supposed to be there.
I don't want Dustin to get this one-sided. Me, Nate, and Logan were all hanging out before the Notre Dame game. Where was Dustin chilling at the house?
I didn't make it for that one.
Yeah,
exactly. So
I was out there at 2:00 in the afternoon, waiting for y'all chumps.
You would not catch me out there at 2:00.
Yeah,
for 8
Dustin gets there where like the starting lineup starts in basketball games. So
yeah, right when
no lie,
right when the kicker's putting the ball in the tee, he's pulling in.
Yeah, trust me getting him to the stadium before games. Like
I beat you there last week.
He called me at the Notre Dame game at 6:15. Like, hey, where are you? I'm like, kickoff's in an hour. Where are you?
Yeah,
we're about to go in the stadium.
I'm like, I'm in the stadium.
But hey, I still got to meet up with you two.
Yeah,
Nate went into the stadium 2 hours early.
Yeah, I had to watch warm-ups, barbecue sandwich.
I know. You ever bring the footballs out on the field?
I had to sit down, man. I was coming off COVID, man. I was gassed.
I feel that.
I was gassed, dude.
And
then I had to walk back to the damn hotel room because we couldn't get an Uber. That's what pissed me off more than anything.
Oh, yeah,
2 damn miles. Man, I was so pissed off, man.
Oh, man. Christopher's saying, have you framed the UM shirt yet? You got to send it to the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta.
I know it should, but I'm waiting for the auction to go off, and then
they got to buy it off of you. They got to buy it off of you.
Yeah, man. Someone's got to buy it off me, man. I
haven't seen the eBay link come through.
Oh, God.
Wipe my ass with it, man. Be authentic. Nate.
Why are we wiping our ass with it?
To get the essence. Because that's why I think of Miami. The pure shit.
He said to get the essence.
The ass sense.
Yeah. That's what I think of Miami,
Oh, man. Well, let's definitely move.
I got to think of something for Florida.
We got, speaking of ass, let's get to some basketball because they're offense.
Okay, all right.
What
a transition.
That was a good transition. I'm not
terrible transition.
How did you lose to Florida? Florida team.
Any pro Knowles things going on basketball, football wise going on? Is Scotty Barnes still making Dustin Lewis look stupid? Yeah.
What's up with people making a big to do about Jalen Ramsey getting pissed off about losing on the sideline?
Oh my God! Yeah, let's talk about that because they're having a hissy fit about Jalen Ramsey getting mad on the sideline at one of the coaches. I mean, that's first of all. Can we talk? Number one, it's football. This isn't tennis or diving off boards, or we're not talking about badminton. This is football. So just go to. And it's even worse in practices. If you've never played football, you just don't know. But it's even worse in practices. There's bitching going on left and right with everyone. Secondly, what's the difference in Tom Brady having a hissy fit, throwing his helmet down and cussing and being pissed off, and then Jalen Ramsey can't do it? I mean, he has every right to be ticked off. I mean, Jalen Ramsey's had a great season so far, and some guys are being wide open on the other side of the field.
They laid an egg against San Francisco, bro.
Yeah, I should never bet on that.
They laid an egg. Derwin continues to be Derwin. Another double-digit sack game or tackle game. He's just out there.
But he got the L, which is more
they lost.
Yeah.
But
Jameis had a successful surgery.
Yep.
To repair his ACL injury, so that's good news to hear.
Yeah.
Scotty Barnes is being Scotty Barnes. 16 points, 8 boards, 3 assists.
he playing right now?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know where you're getting those.
That's the season averages. Season averages. 16, 8, and 3.
Terrence Mann's playing pretty well too, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, we knew that. So funny thing, the 2 of the 3 best 3-man lineups are Terrence Mann in the lineup, like in the entire NBA. If you look at plus minus, he's in part of 2 of the 3 best lineups in the NBA. So just Terrence Mann being Terrence Mann, Scotty's being Scotty. I wish Pat was playing because that Chicago team's good.
Mm-hmm. Finally, shit. Beat Boston.
Yeah, Saints can't do anything now without Jameis too. I mean, I think Alvin Kamara's been dinged up also, but they can't.
We're talking about the NBA. Like I don't.
We don't care.
Well, we're flip flopping everywhere.
No,
we're going left and right.
We talk football now. We talk 2.
Now we're going into basketball.
Let's talk about Florida.
Let's talk about Bobby Hart.
Let's talk about Florida beating
Florida State. Yeah,
what the hell is that, man?
Yeah, Florida State. I'm not even going to stay.
Ruined the perfect weekend.
Beats.
I knew as soon as Florida State beat Miami, like we're not beating Florida. It's over. Streak's over. Streak's done.
Man, what happened, Austin? Because golly, it seems like now the footballs. You see Twitter. I know you're ticked off about it. All the basketball.
I turned that shit off, man.
I sat through it. I sat through it all. It's really all it is. It's we could talk about Florida and Tulane all in one. They're basically the same games, just with different outcomes. Florida State's just not making shots. It's as simple as that. They're getting open. There's tons of open shots throughout the game. They're just not making them. You know, Anthony Apply was 0-5 from 3 last night against Tulane. All 5 shots, he was open. Caleb Mills he's getting open. He's getting to his spots, just not making them. Raekwon Evans has really struggled the last 2 games. Was 1 of 8.
Surprised.
He was 1 of 8 against Tulane, against Florida. I don't even remember. I don't want to look at that box score ever again. It's just they're not making shots and they're turning the ball over too much. It's kind of the same story from early last year.
Are they pressing, Florida, or is it just
mental mistakes? Yeah. It's like Raekwon Evans is dribbling off the side of his leg. You know, he over dribbles and the ball just flies out of bounds. It's little stuff like that. It's just irritating. Florida has a great defense. I'm not going to discredit them. Tulane's matchup zone was trash. It's not a good defense. Florida State was going to open all game, and they just weren't making shots. It's as simple as that. I wish I had more analysis than that because the defenses look phenomenal. I mean, the defenses look really good. You held Tulane at 29% from the floor. Their lowest they've held anyone in 2 years. They still forced Florida into 16 turnovers, forced Tulane into 13, I think, off the top of my head. Blocked 9 shots last night. Evans may not be scoring, but he had 4 blocks last night. The defense is there. We're waiting on this offense to pick up. And when guys like Evans are struggling, Jalen Ward, they look scared. He looks scared to death out there. Luckily, Cameron Fletcher's been phenomenal. You can make the argument he's Florida State's second best player behind the league. John Butler looks better than expected. You could tell the staff is starting to trust him. He played the most he'd played all season last night against Tulane. Cleveland is coming in strides, but the free throw shooting is terrible. It wouldn't surprise me if he finished below 60% in the year from the free throw line. He's not a good free throw shooter. Really, the whole team's not.
What was he like that in high school?
Yeah, he was like that in high school.
Dang.
Yeah, he's never been a good free throw shooter. That was his huge weakness. He's not a good free throw shooter, and 3-point shot's still developing. His form's great. His form looks good. He's just got to get more comfortable. And then outside of that, I'm trying to think.
So 3 games in, Austin, are you more down on Worley now? Isn't that what you've expected?
It really hasn't been. You know, he's so timid. He's just not a threat to score right now because he's not looking to. There was one play in particular against Tulane that just stuck out so much. Late clock scenario, he has the ball at the top of the key. He looks up, sees there's 10 seconds left, and then just immediately gets it to Caleb Mills and gets out of the way. He's just so timid. I don't know if he's nervous, anxious, scared. I don't know what it is. He's just not looking to create for himself, and that's an issue. And then on defense, he's over-helping. I think Tulane got 9 points just from him over-helping. He's supposed to help, but he's not supposed to help when he's the pass away. He's supposed to stay in that lane, keep the pass from getting there. Instead, he's slacking down, trying to stop the drive. He just needs to stay in that lane and keep that pass from getting there, especially when he's guarding Jalen Forbes, the Alabama transfer, who has the ultimate green light. Him and Jalen Cook are both just phenomenal shooters. It kind of reminded me of the UCF game last year where Darren Green Jr. came into the game shooting like 25%. It's exactly what Jalen Forbes was for Tulane. Really struggled his first 2 games and just lit us up. He was hitting tough shots, credit to him. And I knew Jalen Cook was going to be great for Tulane, but Worley's he's struggling, and Florida State needs him. There's a reason that Caleb Mills got a lot of time at the 1 last night. I think that's going to be a theme going forward, at least until we get to conference play, because Worley's got to get some confidence somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's only game 3. It's not time to panic just yet. Integrating 6 new players. I still feel like this team has a long way to go, and guys like Worley, the other true freshman, their confidence is just going to rise throughout the season as they get more and more experience. And I think you said it on Twitter last night, maybe Austin, or in your article or somewhere, but it's really going to be hard to judge what this team is going to be until after the new year, when they really have a good 10, 15 games under their belt.
This is a team you really got to have patience with, and we've been saying it all offseason. The offense is going to take 10 games to come around, 10, 15 games to come around. Until we get to late January, I'm not going to make any kind of judgment on this team. Just because, like Dustin said, they're integrating 6 new players that they're all relying on outside of Naheem. You're relying on Matthew Cleveland. You're relying on John Butler way more than I think any of us thought they would this early. Relying on Cameron Fletcher, who's really been impressive. Relying on Caleb Mills, who's struggled, but he's at least getting to his spots and getting open. It'll come around, and I'm still pretty confident that by the time we get to late January, early February, this team's going to look pretty damn good. But it's going to have some growing pains, and I mean a lot of growing pains. But it's also not just this season. You go back to the year where we should have won the national title. Look at some of those early season offensive games. It looked bleak there for a while. Struggled against Purdue in the Emerald Coast Classic. Really struggled at Indiana. They always have these games early on in the season. Just got to be patient. Like I keep telling myself that. I keep saying it. Just got to be patient.
Purdue's going to wax that ass if they play like that.
I'm expecting Purdue to beat us by 15. Purdue is so good.
It's going to be like a 75-50 type game.
I don't know about that. It's just the way Florida State's bigs are playing right now outside of Malik, and their 2 best players are their bigs and Trevion Williams and Zach Edey. Just good luck. They're going to have to bring out some crazy game plan, which I know they will. I'm curious to know who's going to have to scout for that game to see what kind of game plan they come up with. Good luck. Good luck against those 2.
Good luck.
I mean, just honest question. Do you trust any of Florida State 7-footers to guard 7'4" Zach Edey right now? No,
I don't think the coaching staff does either. That's why they have Butler in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good sign that Butler's progressing or an indictment of the rest of Florida State's bigs.
Quincy and Naheem didn't play a single minute against Tulane. Like, they just don't trust these guys right now.
It's not looking good.
They just really do not trust these guys right now. And you play Purdue, who has the best front court in college basketball outside of Gonzaga in 2 weeks. So good luck.
Yeah, Butler's. I mean, he's just too small
too
to
wiry.
match up.
Like he's got the height. Once he adds 75 pounds, he'll be a really good player.
It was crazy last night. Tulane fans. There was a couple of Tulane fans.
There were Tulane fans there.
Yeah, they were in front of me, and
they were
taking pictures of John Butler on their cell phone, and they're like, "Look at this dude! Like he's so tall, he's so skinny.
Yeah, his wingspan is too big because the sleeves are like all the way out here."
Like, bro, I could grab his arm, his whole arm, and just boop. I got my whole hand around his arm. Like, it's crazy.
To be fair, he's a super talented player. I mean, you watch him and
you can see the potential.
Once he figures out, hey, I'm 7'1", I can shoot over people, like he did with his first points last night. He got the ball in the high post and just shot the ball. Once he figures that out, hey, I shouldn't be making full court passes. Once he adds 50 pounds, he's gonna be a really good player. He's got to figure some mental things out, but he's gonna be a really good player here next year.
Yeah, I'm just looking 2-3 years down the road when he's got, hopefully 50 or 60 more pounds on his frame. He could be a monster for Florida State.
And Malik warned me at ACC tip-off. He said, watch out for Butler. This guy's going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no freakouts. Leonard said after the game that they do have, I mean, he felt like the younger guys were a little bit more relaxed than the veterans were last night. And I kind of saw that too. Just feel like anybody was in sync for the olders. And so the young guys still learning. And Leonard also said that they've got a lot to do still with figuring out what that rotation is going to look like. That's still a big time work in progress.
The good thing is you probably saw what your crunch time 5 is last night with Raekwon Evans, Caleb Mills, Anthony Polite, Cam Fletcher, and Malik. I don't see that changing much over there, especially if Fletcher keeps playing like this. What I would love to see is Matthew Cleveland really make some strides. Then you bump Caleb Mills up to the 1, take Evans out, and then you just have this crazy versatile 5 of Mills, Cleveland, Polite, Fletcher, Osborne. Or they're just all super athletic, can hurt you in multiple ways offensively and defensively. That's the dream lineup. I don't know how much we'll see it, especially once we get later in the season. You're playing at Duke and you need that crunch time 5. Who knows? But that's kind of the dream goal right now, and we'll see. Evans has just been bad. He had 4 turnovers.
I don't follow it like you do, Austin. But that I was going to say that after. I'd like to see Cleveland step up and bump out Evans.
He's been solid.
I just think that Mills has more to offer as a point guard.
I don't know if it's more to offer as a point guard. I just think Cleveland is more versatile than Evans. Just because now
you like what I said. Yeah.
It's it's kind of the same comment. Whatever. Evans is he's a negative offensively, but he's superb defensively. I mean, he's a dog on the ball. He hit 4 blocks last night, including one really impressive one where he came from the weak side and blocked the center. He's great defensively. He's just this is not what Florida State needs right now. Offensively, when they're breaking in so many new guys, you need someone that can get guys settled.
I mean, can he play the 5?
Probably better than Malik, or not better than Quincy. No, better than Quincy. That's what I was going to say. Quincy or Naheem. Mm-hmm. The 7-footers have potential. They're just way behind the 8 ball right now.
Where they could have used Balsa this year.
You know what potential means, right? You haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, I was talking about it the other night when I was watching the Seton Hall Michigan game. How you have this butterfly effect of you have Ike transfer out when he was supposed to be your senior last year.
I don't even want to talk about that.
If he doesn't transfer out, then Balsa stays for this year, and you have this unbelievable front court last year of Ike and Balsa, and then you have Balsa for this season. This team looks crazy. It's just this crazy butterfly effect. I really don't want to talk about it, and I really don't like the situation. Thanks
for bringing it up.
Sorry.
But now, I mean, Florida State has no time to just chill. I mean, we got some matchups here. We won't be able to recap until we'll be previewing Purdue in the next podcast because it's crazy, the daunting amount of games that Florida State's going to go through. But they'll be playing Loyola on Sunday, and then let's
specify which Loyola because there's 3. They're playing Loyola Marymount, which is the one in California. Then it's part of the Jacksonville Classic, so then they'll play the result of SMU and Missouri. Florida State's the best team of the 4. I would say Loyola is second. SMU third. Missouri is not that good. So that's probably who you would prefer to play on Monday. And then you come right back at it on Wednesday and play Boston University, was picked to be the favorite in the Patriot League. So no breaks. No breaks at all, but then luckily you get a week off before you play Purdue. But
you think those 3 games, that slate right there, is really going to help solidify and figure it out? They'll be finalizing that final rotation there. Like that's got to be
not
helpful.
Not really. Just with these classics or midseason tournaments, where you're playing back-to-back days, it's the first day in particular, Sunday. They're going to use their depth just because they're going to have to if they want to have a good game on Monday. So I don't see them solidifying their rotation then. They're going to maybe against Boston University. That's another game where they're going to have to use a lot of depth, though, just because guys are going to be tired coming off that classic.
It's going to take time. Basketball's it's just that game where you have to put in the work, and it takes long stretches for stuff to come together.
You're not thinking by Purdue it won't be? That's what I was
doubt
saying.
No.
I doubt it. I mean, you'll know.
That's in 12 days, bro. No.
You already know who your 8 is, like your top 8, but you're trying to figure out how do you work them in. And I think that's more of what Hamilton was saying. He wasn't really saying, I don't know what I'm doing with rotations right now. He's saying, I don't know how to put these guys in the best spot just yet.
Right.
So we'll see.
You got to find the lineups that fit together, the minute distribution. All kinds of stuff. And
you really don't want to play. You really don't want to play Malik Osborne.
I don't have time, Dustin.
Austin, you would know the answer to this question. This is the most least experienced Florida State team coming into a season since when?
Probably 15-16, right? With the year we had Terrence, Dwayne, Malik.
What, five true freshmen that year? I think
it was 4. It was 4 true freshmen, and then you had JUCO Benji Bell, and you had they had another JUCO guy. Who was it? I don't remember. But yeah, probably that, because outside of your bigs, it was a pretty inexperienced team. You had Boris and Ojo. Kofor was still really young because he was hurt a lot as a youngin. I would say that team, because was that the year that Aaron Thomas left earlier, or was that the year before? I think it was the year before.
I don't know off the top of my head. That's why I asked you.
And then you had XRM, who was a sophomore. That was a really young team. That's probably the youngest I can think of.
Was that the Miami year for XRM?
No, that was his redshirt freshman.
Before?
Yeah, that was his redshirt freshman year.
And that year, 2015-16, you made the NIT.
To be fair, they were 1 game away from the tournament. If they beat Pitt at home, they make that tournament. Who else was on that team? I'm really curious now. Yeah, Devin Booker was your senior.
He's doing great for the Suns right now too.
Okay. Outside of him, your 2 leading scorers were freshmen. Then it was X, who was a sophomore. Then 2 seniors, then another freshman. And then, you had Quez as a junior. You had Benji, who was a JUCO guy. Monte Brandon, who I don't want to talk about. And then Chris Kamaji. So that was a really young team. They'll get it together. That team didn't have the depth this team does. They didn't have the potential this team does. So they'll be fine. Just they got to work some kinks out.
Just like Mr. Two First Names said here. That's his literal name here on YouTube. Says Coach Ham will get these boys in line. So
he will. I'm not concerned about it. Just be
reason
patient.
why he's a really good coach. Yes.
Be patient. Absolutely. They'll be fine. When they beat Louisville by 15 at home in early January, you'll forget all about early November.
Write it down and clip it. Chat. Clip that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Louisville sucks. I'm ashamed I put them 3rd in my ACC preview.
I would have never done that. I can tell you that. Hell no.
At least Virginia sucks too. I kind of called that.
Well, let's jump into the rest of the pod here and end it off with some Florida State versus Boston College preview. Austin, we'll get to the score predictions. I won't call you out on anything, but he's on the whole trend of picking against Florida State, and I think you're gonna have to stick to that along with Dustin.
I am as well.
Have to stick with that trend.
I already gave Dustin my prediction for Friday's article.
Austin's pissed off that Florida State football won.
I'm so freaking mad.
Yeah, he is ticked off, and I bet he hated looking at Twitter too on Sunday. Ooh,
have you talked to your friend Perry Weston?
I haven't blocked. He's a prick. And
go look at his timeline. Though. I want to see what he's tweeted.
Oh, trust me, I get it sent to me. It's not like I don't see it. People send it to me like, "Is this guy for real?" I'm like, sadly, he is for real.
Well, Florida State's going to be facing against Boston College at noon. I should probably know, Dustin, where is it televised?
Network.
And
your favorite channel.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
I don't even have it in my Comcast selection.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, you got to go to, you should find whatever link you can find, guys. But that's going to be at noon up there in Chapel Hill. No, not Chapel Hill. I'm an idiot. Chestnut, my bad. So
if it was at Chapel Hill, we'd win.
Not wrong. Dustin, you're going to be there. Are you excited about being up there? Is this your first time there in the stadium? It's going to be chilly.
I've never been to Boston College before. It's looking like it's going to be like 40 to 60 degrees. It's a noon game, so
not bad.
It won't be that bad. You thought it was going to be going up to Boston when you were originally playing the trip. You thought it was going to be like 20.
Yeah, and luckily it's not going to be at night. Because
honestly, I never really thought it was going to be that bad because Boston in November is like before the winter gets bad. Normally in January is when like all the snow and stuff really starts coming pretty often. So really, this is the perfect time to go check out the game, and we got our tickets for $11. We're on the front row.
So you're not even in the press box? What are you doing?
Well, I've got three other people with me, and Logan didn't come, so I can't sneak everyone a press pass and fake it.
Oh man, yeah, we love school. We love school. But first thoughts heading into this game, gentlemen. Florida State's looking to try to get a bowl game, and Florida State's starting to find that rushing attack again, and that's going to be crucial for this game. And that rush pass right now. Or that pass rush, I said it completely opposite. But Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, Robert Cooper, love it. That's going to be key for a guy that doesn't like to turn over the ball, too, at Boston.
Yeah, the key to this game, really, to me, is Boston College's quarterback, Phil Jurkovec. You look at whenever he was out earlier this season, Boston College started out 4-0. Went 0-4 while he was out, and now in the last two games that he's returned, they've won them both and had a couple dominant offensive showings. I believe they got over 500 yards against Georgia Tech this past weekend. Jurkovec threw for 310 yards on just 13 completions. So he hit a couple deep shots, but also he had a couple short throws, and their playmakers were good enough to get by the bad tacklers on the Georgia Tech defense and create some extra yardage. So taking a look at them, they're definitely more of an interesting matchup than I thought originally coming into this game.
I feel it's a little bit easier of a matchup than I thought at the start of the season. I thought Boston College was going to be a little bit better. You look at that start of the season, people were really high on them, but they played Colgate, UMass, and Temple in Missouri. That was the first 4 games.
They played toothpaste.
Yep. And Georgia Tech is one of the worst defensive teams in the country. So, I get the, marked improvement under Jurkovec. I get it. I understand it. For me,
on the road, though.
Yeah. In this series, since Boston College has joined the ACC, the away team in this series is 8-7. So the away teams have a lot more success traditionally in this game. But here comes a Boston College team that is, they're not great against the run, and that's what Florida State does well. And I kind of feel the same way that I felt against Miami, is that if Florida State can establish the run, this is going to be a game that I think they can have a lot of success in. Against Clemson, they gave up 231 yards. Against Louisville, they gave up 331. Against Syracuse, they gave up 293. And last week against Georgia Tech, they gave up 213. 3 of those were losses. They beat Georgia Tech because they were able to throw the ball really well against Georgia Tech. But 331 against Louisville, man. 7 yards a pop against Louisville that they gave up. They're giving up almost 6 yards of rush on first down. So there's a lot of opportunity for FSU to come in and dominate on the ground and get into a lot of second shorts that open up the playbook to stay ahead of the chain. So, again, and it's going to be for this week and next week. Florida State is 0-3 on the season if they get under 100 yards rushing, and they're 1-5 on the season if they get under 205. So the key for FSU is to get over that 205 mark. They get 205. There's a high probability that they're going to win the game. So it comes down to for me. Boston College is a team that they're well coached. They only give 5 penalties a game, plus 2 in the, or they have a turnover advantage of 2. They force 10 fumbles. They don't get after the quarterback very well. They protect pretty good, but I kind of think this is going to be like Syracuse, where Schrader was giving FSU some fits with the running attack, and Jurkovec's a good athlete. He can run the ball pretty well, so I think that's going to create some some stress for the FSU defense. But I just think that if Florida State can run the ball like I think they can, I think this is going to be a game they pull out.
This is where Jordan Travis made his debut.
2019.
Florida State quarterback.
Yep. 3 runs for 94 yards and 2 scores, something like that. 95 yards, something right around there.
Yeah, Boston College can give up some points, other than facing some weaker opponents. Their last game against Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech is not great whatsoever this season. Shouldn't be impressed, but allowed 30 points from them, allowed 34 points from Missouri, allowed 28 points from Massachusetts.
They were down 21-7 against Georgia Tech.
We're my bad Georgia Tech team.
Yeah.
28, obviously, from Louisville, and their loss there, in Syracuse 21. So this is not too fantastic defense, once again, that Florida State's going to be facing offensively.
And, the advanced stats, FSU is 47th in F+ on offense. Boston College is 73rd. On defense, FSU is 42nd. Boston College is 61st. And the SP, FSU is 53rd. Boston College is 60th. So these teams are pretty evenly matched. So I think this is going to be another competitive close game.
Yeah, I'm wondering what it really comes down to. Is it Florida State's pass rush once again? Is it Florida State scoring a lot of points, takeaways? I'm just wondering what's going to be the key factor here, because I thought going into the Miami game, pass rush. I thought Florida State was going to be fine on the ground and everything offensively.
I think it's the same.
Being back,
you got to get after Djokovic, but you also got to be smart and not over pursue, because he will be able to beat FSU with his legs. So you got to be smart with with that run, that rush. You can't get out of lane. You got to be smart. So if they can play controlled and play smart defense, I think it's going to be a game that FSU has a good shot at winning. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be facing Jaden Lars Woodby, his squad up there, Austin. Jaden Lars
feel about that.
Having a decent year.
Yeah, it's great. So what's going to happen when this is a perfect game to get Ja'Kai Douglas up in the slot and get Lars Woodby up on him in the slot.
Good practices this week.
Put that shit in for 6. Go ahead. Punch it in for 6. Calling it now.
Think Norvell's lining it up?
Line it up. Put it down. Mismatch.
But yeah, nightmare mismatch. Let's talk about. Ja'Kai Douglas, man. They're Dillingham and Norvell in the press conferences this week. They said he's a guy that they can rely on. He can catch the ball, even if there's good coverage. He can catch it. They got to give him more opportunities. Definitely deep wise. Florida State has been dying for a deep threat wide receiver, and Ja'Kai Douglas is that right now. And they've got to give him more opportunities. It's mandatory moving forward throughout the rest of the season, because he's a deadly threat, and explosive wise, he's earned it. And he's more of a hybrid guy, because you can move around a lot and then you can send him down the field. Good hands.
Well, you look at it, the depth chart, they've got him listed at running back, but then most of the time when he's coming on the field, he's impacting the game out at the slot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Complete hybrid guy, and that speed is what allows him to be that. So, interested to see if we'll see a lot more Ja'Kai Douglas this upcoming weekend. I think it should be, like I said, mandatory. He's got to finish off the season strong. They got to use him more. Florida State health-wise seems to be good. Like I said, Baby 9 should be back too, so that adds into a little bit more of some packages that you can throw at Boston College after not seeing him the last few weeks. Baby 9 back there too for Jordan Travis to throw if need be. Both tight ends fully healthy. Cameron McDonald along with Jordan Wilson finishing off the season strong. There's a lot of positives going in. That's one thing that you get worried about after facing, a rival in a game, is that really physical guys getting hurt. We saw against Clemson where a good amount of guys dinged up. But seems like Florida State, the biggest thing coming out of that game, healthy and ready to rock. against Boston College on Saturday afternoon. And so, if that kind of play style and game readiness is how it was against Miami, Florida State fans should feel pretty good about this. So,
no, like you said, the team's pretty healthy. I mean, obviously at this point of the season, no one's 100%. Everyone's banged up and dealing with something, but nothing bad enough to really keep a lot of guys out. We should see just about everyone be ready to go this weekend.
They're gonna, both Brownlee and I'm expecting Cooper to start again. They're gonna have to really lock down. Zay Flowers, can't let him beat you over the top. The running back's pretty solid. He's got almost 1,000 yards on the season. It's a balanced attack. It's going to be a competitive game, but I just think that it's another style matchup where FSU has a pretty solid advantage in that, and that's with the running game versus their run defense. Their front four is pretty bad. Their linebackers are decent, and they've been okay in the back end, but their front four, Florida State has an opportunity to, really punish this team in the trenches. So, this is an opportunity too for Travis to stay in the pocket and deliver some strikes if he can carry that over from the Miami game. So, I like the matchup. I've always hated where it was on the schedule more than anything. In between your two rivals, I've hated the spot on the schedule. Can they come out with even keel emotions and play smart as they really are pushing for that 6-6 mark? So,
yeah, I think too. Looking at practice-wise, that's things that I just take off of too when making picks. Is guys, you get that big time win, you get all that national love, the fans are loving you and everything. But can you go back and dial in and have the same energy? And Norvell mentioned it on Monday's press conference that Sunday's practice was what he really wanted to see in it. That a lot of energy, guys competing, and Tuesday and Wednesday. We got to wake up, Nate. Tuesday and Wednesday, guys just getting after it, man. Guys making plays. I mean, it felt like just
you had
another
no energy,
game
bro.
day.
You put me to sleep, man.
You got to wake up.
Let's go, man.
You know what you need? Transition me, Nate. What do I need? What do you need?
You need to send us some Celsius.
Yeah, you need to send me some Celsius.
You're not wrong about that. I do.
I drank a Red Bull before the show because I can't get any Celsius.
Whoa! We can't talk about
with that. Cut it out.
Yep, got to cut that out. Dustin doesn't know about.
Boom.
Can we talk about how you are a hoarder and you don't share?
Dude, he's got like 4 cases.
I was going to say how many different cases?
No, there's nothing in those boxes. Those are shirts.
Are they polos that I don't have yet?
No, they're not polos.
Hey,
we'll make sure you have one whenever you go to the South Carolina basketball game. I think I'm gonna drive up there to that.
Hey, I need 4 men's medium shirts.
Medium?
I mean large.
You need it for the All-American game, don't you?
No.
What do you need? Why do you need 4?
Bro, it's going to someone. It's for a good cause.
This is random. I'm scared. I don't know where they're going. It's gonna be sent off to North Korea.
It's going to someone that's in the military.
Oh, well, then that works. They could be in North Korea because it could be military now. Well,
so
is there any U.S. military in North Korea now?
I can't tell you where they're at, but
maybe prisoners.
I have to kill you.
Prisoners. God dang, this is turning.
Get to the ad read.
But to our friends,
shirts.
To our friends at Celsius, definitely appreciate y'all. Y'all saved me today before the gym because I had no interest in having leg day today. Just like Nate makes fun of me, but at a Celsius this morning, Nate, my legs, they look amazing. They look good.
So I keep telling my staff members that I get free Celsius. I haven't got it yet.
It's really just me.
they keep asking me for it because like they all drink it. It's taking over. It's taking over the Bang. It's taking over the 5-hour powers. It's taking.
These are better. These don't have all those nastiness in here. These have actually vitamins in it too, so it makes you feel better.
Everyone's bringing in Celsius now.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Everything.
Is it because Hear the Spear? I think so. I think that's what it is.
Well, that and just my overall charismatic salesmanship.
Yeah, you're doing a good job telling them about it. But yeah, 7 essential vitamins in here. You don't have any sugar, all that non-GMO stuff. Really nice and healthy drink, and definitely healthier than other drinks that Dustin told on here to all of our viewers.
If it's so good, why don't you chug the can right now?
Do you want me to be up really late? I do bad with drinking over amounts of caffeine, but this one actually lets me settle down a little bit. God dang.
Where's this milk chugging that's supposed to happen too?
Yeah, wait, we completely
I forgot.
Oh my god.
I do have a quarter gallon in the fridge if you want me to go grab it real quick.
Yes.
Man, a quarter gallon, that's weak stuff, man.
Go grab that while we start
talking so fast. Nah. Remind me for next time.
We'll do it for next week for sure.
All right.
But yeah, shout out to them. Go make sure you check out the link down below. You actually get 20% off. This one is the sparkling strawberry guava. It's actually my favorite, and this is what the big hit is this November. So that's the deal that they are giving you. But these are awesome. We've seen a lot of good comments on Twitter and Instagram and on the show too from you guys trying them out. So definitely give them some love. Awesome brand to be working with. Definitely appreciate them hooking it up.
Oh, dude, next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
What's wrong with Thanksgiving?
How are we going to do a podcast on Thanksgiving?
I was going to talk about it after the podcast, but, you know.
We'll figure it out later, right?
Dang, man, I need to look ahead at my calendar more often.
Yeah, I mean.
I've been getting blindsided.
He's not an adult, Dustin.
You guys can go ahead and podcast. I won't be available next Thursday.
I'll be out of town.
I'll be in a food coma.
Yeah, no, that is true. I eat a lot of food. Divorced kids, we have to eat a lot of food throughout.
I eat about
holidays.
14 rolls. So
were you a child bride?
14 rolls? There's,
You said divorced kids eat a lot of food.
Yeah. You go eat at your dad's place and you go eat at your mom's place all in one day.
Okay.
You didn't understand that?
Just the way you worded it.
Yeah, you're trying to get like psychological on it, you know?
It's just who I am. I'm smart. I try to play with y'all's brains and wake you up, Nate. But yeah, shout out to them. 20. Use the code. We have our own code too. 20% off at 20 FSU.
All right, let's get to the score predictions.
Before Nate's got to go to sleep. He is so tired. We got it, and we started 30 minutes earlier now. It's unbelievable. That sounded good on you. That sounded good on you. You should do it more often. Who wants to go first? I feel like I went early last week.
I'll go first.
Look at VZ because we already know it's coming from VZ.
Yeah, I'll go first. I will read word for word what I put in our group chat when Dustin asked for score predictions. I said basketball is playing poorly, and I'm blaming football since apparently neither program can have success at the same time. Hoops plays their own Boston team next week, and I'd rather win that game and the games they have this weekend. Boston College 27, Florida State 20.
Austin once again going with Boston College, or other schools other than Florida State. Which, if you can keep on doing that, then
listen, man, I need my basketball program to have success, and the best way I feel like that can happen is Florida State doesn't make a bowl game. They can beat Florida next week. That's fine. I need my basketball program to do well.
But you believe in your coach, Leonard Hamilton, so you shouldn't have to rely on
I do, but apparently these two programs cannot have success at the same time. That's just something that's weird.
So my turn. I'll go next. I need whoever FSU plays in basketball, this tournament they have coming up. I need FSU to go 0-3 over the next week and a half. So 12 days out from playing Purdue. That means if FSU goes winless up until Purdue, that means FSU still plays 2 football games, wins those 2, and then they go ahead and start winning against Purdue. That's what I need to happen.
If we lose every game in the next 3, you will not see me on this podcast next week.
No, I just think that this is a game where FSU is going to be able to win the ball, control the clock. I think they'll get after Djokovic. I still think that he'll make plays. He's pretty shifty. I guess the word is crafty. He's a solid quarterback, man. Like, he's pretty good. Plays well within the offense, doesn't turn the ball over. And I think they'll score some, but I just think the FSU's run game is going to be the difference, and I think they're going to win 28-24.
Ooh, got the Noles winning again, back-to-back weekends.
Yep.
8. Okay.
So my prediction is purely for reverse jinx purposes, because Syracuse.
Reverse jinx doesn't happen if you talk about it.
Well, just forget that.
You can't talk about reverse jinx.
Well, just block all this out of your mind because I'm saying it anyway. But I predicted FSU to lose against Syracuse. They won. I predicted them to lose against UNC. They won. I predicted them to lose against Miami. They won. Guess what I'm doing tonight?
Whoa.
I'm picking Florida State to lose so that they win. So, next Thursday or whenever we have this podcast because of Thanksgiving, you can thank me instead of Logan. But that's literally the only reason I'm picking Boston College. Think Florida State is going to play a good game. We'll see what happens. Boston College 34, Florida State 31.
Ooh. Whoa. What? Oh, wow. This is going to be good because guess what? I've got Florida State winning this game 34-31.
Yeah, you just copied me.
No, I didn't. I had Mark Rogers' show last night. Now I say it a day in advance, 34-31, Florida State. I think the rushing game once again, and from what I saw in the practices, 2 really great practices Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I always go off of. Everybody's making fun of me earlier in the season, saying, "Oh, that's practices. What are you doing?" It's worked out well for me pretty much so far. I'm the best.
Austin,
what am I, 7-3? 7-3 on the season for out of no game.
Who is FSU playing basketball this week again?
Loyola Marymount. The result of SMU Missouri and then Boston U on Wednesday.
Let's go Boston! Woo!
Damn.
Let's go Mustangs.
I love it. Please send it on him, Nate. Send it on his ass. Don't let Austin come in here.
Do you want me to be depressed for the rest of my life? Is that what you want to happen?
Oh my God, dramatic.
If you have to suffer for 2 weeks, and then for another FSU to
but here's the thing.
Game,
here's the thing. That suffering for 2 weeks would expound into the whole season.
So I need it to suffer. I need you to feel the wrath.
My articles are only getting 200 views a week, anyways. Whoa. Don't make it 100.
Don't share that publicly.
Don't make it 100.
Come on.
So,
we could. That's why we. That's why Nate
keeps tell you that everyone wants FSU basketball to suck until FSU can get to that 6-6 and get to a bowl game, and then they can go and beat Purdue and get it right. That's what needs to happen.
I don't want the path to be losing to Boston U. I can't have that.
Well, that means you can get into some football recruiting too, Austin. Once basketball goes back to the 2000s there. Yeah.
I'm going to summon my very minute small Indian trait, my heritage, and I'm going to do an Indian dance to make sure that Boston College loses this week, but Boston University wins.
Can we see that on live? Can we see?
Yeah, I do it. I do a dance for you, man.
All right. Can you
give me a Celsius?
I'll send fast day shipping tomorrow. It'll be at your front doorstep tomorrow evening, so I can set that up. Nate, I wanted to bring up something just for you that I thought you would enjoy, just to end off the podcast. If I can find it here, I thought you would enjoy this.
Oh God! Is it gonna piss me off?
No. No.
Is this another ukulele?
Probably.
No, it's not the ukulele. I'm trying to get everything off the screen so we can have a full. We'll even take this off down there.
Off the screen.
Well, I'm trying to get everything off. There you go. All right. There you go. I just want to end off the podcast here and give you this right here.
What's going to be a score prediction from last week to end the podcast?
Nope.
Oh, no.
I wanted to give you this.
What the f is that?
This.
Oh Lord.
Is it gone?
Any kind? Seems like. Oh no, they haven't taken it down.
What is this supposed to be? Is that like a new tier?
It's TikTok, bro. That's all I
Is it like a recruiting video? What is happening?
This is from UF. This is from a class there. And people are saying this is Anthony Richardson. Is this Anthony? Let's see.
Oh, God.
And then I lose it, and then it's gone. Hey, women's basketball.
Shout out women's basketball for killing JU tonight.
Ballin'.
Just looking a little scary for a second, but
let's see.
If that is Anthony Richardson, he looks upset.
Don't care.
That's got to be for extra credit.
Also, he's wearing an SEC tee, which
I am the SEC.
Yeah,
let them suffer. I couldn't care less.
This was one of the most.
Remember that Rowdy Reptiles video they did? What was it, last year or 2 years ago? It was
like a couple of years ago, where in the stadium they were doing that awful.
Like that
Cardi
Nicki Minaj song, Cardi B, whatever
it was.
Yeah. The Cardi B song.
God, I hope they do. Make sure to post this on Twitter because we got like 1 million views whenever you post that a couple of years ago.
That is true.
Need some clout.
Look how like white the video is.
I'm just saying, Logan, you'll piss Kurt Weiler off.
It's just full on white people. What? Look how white that is right there in the red sweater. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the other white people that have to watch that and you see how awkward we are.
I don't know. I understand why they say we have no rhythm. It makes sense.
That is Anthony Richardson. Oh man, I just thought I'd give y'all some things to sleep and have nightmares about. So really scary to watch and hope everything's okay in Gainesville because I don't even know if I could do that for extra credit.
It won't be in 2 weeks. I'm gonna burn that city to the ground.
I will say I'm 1-0 in my time in Gainesville. With Florida State beating basketball by 20.
Aren't you going with me to the game? Our credentials got approved, so.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be with you if you burn in places to ground. I mean, it was already burning preseason.
I was going to say,
the swamp was already on fire.
Yeah. Finish that shit off, Dustin.
Wouldn't be a shock.
Burn that shithole to the ground.
And we just lost our credentials.
Make sure you bring some Clorox bleach wipes so you can sanitize your body when you leave there.
I'm just gonna have to burn myself.
Have that Gainesville jerk, that freaking cesspool of rednecks and chlamydia. Awful. Such an awful town.
We've really hit.
The nice thing I saw there was like
the best thing that ever happened to them was Whataburger, and they closed it.
But I'm saying the nicest building I saw in
shitty
Gainesville,
ass mall and their stupid
Seminole Rap is legendary. It's not
stupid
just
freaking.
Speaking
I hate Gainesville, man.
Speaking of closed, Jim and Mill's closing. What's up with that?
Wow. Yeah.
Pandemic getting everybody, bro.
Man,
too close to home.
Jim and Mill's closing after Thanksgiving.
November 28th. I'm gonna cry.
Yikes.
They're supposed to be our sponsor. We let them down, boys.
You let them down. You go there every other day.
Well, you're like the marketing director, CEO guy. So get it done, bro.
Oh, goodness. We got to get off here. I should have never shared that video. We just lost our credentials. So, all right, everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all's week. As always, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube. If you're on iTunes, leave a review if you would like. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We go live now every Thursday nights at 8 p.m. with basketball and football coverage.
Why are you talking with your eyes closed? You look really weird.
Because people don't know that on the podcast, so I can sit here. I could talk like.
Trying to remember what he rehearsed before the show. Make sure he gets it right.
Thank you, Dustin, for backing me up. Look at that. That's my friend, Dustin.
Can't you feel the family? The brotherhood?
The family brotherhood that we have here
feels a little forced. But hey.
And my legs look awesome, by the way, right now, Nate.
And the podcast.
You're obsessed with it. All right, let's get out of here. Everybody have a great rest of y'all's weekend. Enjoy the weekend. And go Steelers. Adios.